Hey everyone, I'm Journals. This is part 2 of some tips to help you get through a school you hate working at in South Korea. So a few videos back, I gave you some reasons on why you might hate working at your school in South Korea. Now this isn't going to be the case for everyone. That was just my experience and a few other people that I know that struggle with the same thing. So on number 5 on that list was separate bathrooms. And again, I don't mean like the bathrooms were co-ed. I just mean that the female teachers and the female students would share the same bathroom. So how I used to get around that situation was, so obviously you're not teaching from the beginning of the day all the way to the end of the day. You have some periods where that's your time to plan or do whatever you need. So I would just hold it and I would go to the bathroom on those periods, because if I went during a break, I would see everybody up in there, and that's obviously not something you want. Yes, you do still run into students during the period in the bathroom, but there's a lot less students. And for the most part, they're just trying to get back to class because they know the teacher's kind of looking at the clock like, where you at? So just hold it in. That might help a little bit. The next thing on the list is you're left in the dark about everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Now, from the small end of the spectrum, it could be something small like you're getting ready to go to your third period class. You get to the door, you walk in, and they're like, oh, sorry, class is canceled today. They have a test or they have a school trip, right? Something like that is minor. You just chalk that up. That's okay. But you get to the other end of the spectrum, and these things are kind of important. These are things where, like, instead of there being just no class, they're like, there's no school. And sometimes they don't tell you, right? So this is how you maneuver situations like that. And I've had situations like this happen. One situation, I go to school and it's closed, it's locked, there's no cars in the parking lot, like it's no one there, and no one thought to tell me. And when I really sit back and I think about my first year in Korea, because my second year I wisened up, my first year in Korea, I missed out on a lot of travel opportunities that I could have had because they just didn't let me know things, whether it was the day before. If we had off on Friday, they might tell me on Thursday. Or they would not tell me at all, as I just gave you that example of. So this is how you remedy that situation. The first thing you want to do is you want to get yourself a school calendar. Now you might get some pushback, because I know I did, and the type of pushback they gave was, why do you want the calendar? It's not in English. You don't need to worry about it. What do you want with it? Those are the kind of things like they told me. But you have to be persistent and get the calendar anyway. While you're waiting for them to work that out, what you could do is you go to your students and your after school program, because you have them to yourself, and you want to pull up like a calendar on the computer, and you want to go to the smartest kid in the class and ask him, when school? No school. When? And he'll point out the dates for you. He'll tell you, and then you can kind of get an idea from what he tells you. Okay, so we might not have any school on such and such days. All right, so you can kind of prepare something in your mind or kind of plot something so that you could at least enjoy yourself somehow, whether it's inside of Korea or you traveling outside of Korea. Now, when you do get your calendar, yeah, they're right. It's not going to be in English, but you're not looking for English. You're looking for red days. You're looking for a color. And what this color tells you is that you don't have school. It's a national holiday. And in addition to national holidays, your school has an anniversary, which is when the day the school was founded, the day it was started. And that day is also when there isn't any school. So the day this is closed for you. So you want to look for those red days so that this way, if your school doesn't tell you anything, you can still start preparing. And once I realized this, my second year was a lot smoother. I mean, I went to the Philippines a few times just based off looking at this red calendar and not having to rely on my school letting me know things in the future that were coming up. And the following thing on that list was monotony. Yeah, things could get a little boring and it's hard to switch things up if your teachers that you're co-teaching with, They're really strict when it comes to classes during the day. So there's really nothing you can really do. But after school programs, that's when you can really turn up. And with my students, we would sing songs. They just wanted there to be music and stuff involved. So I was like, okay, I can do that. But outside of that requirement, I could do whatever I wanted. So I took that time to introduce a little bit of culture, introduce some new songs they hadn't heard of before, or maybe remixes of songs that they thought was like the original, but then they got to hear like the original song. So stuff like that was cool. And here's a video clip. My students, they're doing a gap fill to the song Sunny by Bobby Hebb, I believe. Sunny one so true. I love you. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If not helpful directly to you, hopefully to somebody that you know who's probably dealing with things like this in their school, whether it's in Korea. Maybe you see similarities to the school you work at in another country. Anyway, I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching.